Welcome back to another episode of the Dynastyers podcast, everybody. I am your host, Darius Capers. You know me as Kung Fu Cape on the Twitch. Give us a follow at the Dynastyers podcast on our YouTube and Instagram channels that you see at the top. Should be left corner for you, right corner for me. And please also, you see I'm rocking the merch today. Give the Capers Cares Foundation a follow on Instagram. They're doing a lot in the community. You want to see it. If you want to stay up to date with what they're doing, please tap in. You don't want to miss it. Yes, you guys see I have a special guest with me today. I will pass the mic over to her and let her do the introduction. Miss India, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm India Sampson, and I also have a YouTube channel, and I talk about my opinion about sports. I also model, travel the world, and I'm super excited to be on the podcast today.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And that was kind of our introduction section. We're going right into it. I'm glad you started with the modeling success that you've had. That is actually where I want to start.
Okay.
Being a fan of you, actually looking at your YouTube channel, we got a scroll on the bottom at India.Sampson. We saw that you have been a model for, I know the video was a year ago, it was 4 years, so roughly 5 years, going on 5 years now.
Yeah,
Okay.
roughly 5. I started modeling when I was turning 16 or 15, so roughly 5 years, yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. And how has that experience been? Is it a cutthroat business? Is it as competitive as like the sports world? How has that been?
It's definitely competitive in a different way. So in high school I played volleyball, so it's definitely different from like the sports world. But it's definitely competitive in terms of girls competing for jobs. It's definitely cutthroat. They're just gonna say it how it is, and yeah, it's just the modeling industry, the industries in general, really.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. And you mentioned volleyball. That's kind of the next topic we wanted to actually get to was the sports and the fitness background that you do have. You mentioned volleyball. Was that something that you did in high school and wanted to do in college? Was that something that was just a fun activity to make friends? How did your volleyball career begin and how did it end, or is it still going on?
So actually, funny story. I was like in a toss up during my college, like if I wanted to go to college for volleyball or if I wanted to go modeling. Um, so I was like, ooh, should I just like get money for like go to D1 school and play volleyball somewhere, or should I travel the world and model? And obviously I ended up traveling the world modeling, but I started playing volleyball probably in middle school, just like
Right.
a little like club type vibe. And then like later on I played high school, and my friend, because it was like a friend thing, so I was like, if she's playing volleyball, I'm gonna play volleyball too. And so we played volleyball together our whole high school career. And I definitely, like again I said, had that toss up between if I wanted to play or if I didn't. And I don't play anymore, but
Mhm.
I still have that like competitive, like, oh, I want to go play a little bit.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. That's something that always sticks with you, just, being a athlete. It just never seems to leave, just that competitive nature. And I also saw that you were a big into fitness, lifting, anything of that nature. What type of like fitness classes are you into?
So I'm not into any fitness classes right now currently because I took a break, but we're not going to talk about that. But I did a yoga class actually in LA, and it was very good. It was very good. So yoga, definitely. Pilates is like my vibe.
Really? Okay, yeah, a lot of body weight stuff. I see.
Yeah.
Man, oh, those are the toughest workouts for me.
Yeah.
Let's see, kind of pivoting now into really the most important topic is basketball. The real reason why we're here. We're here to talk hoops, of course.
Hmm.
Being a fan of basketball as you are, I know you mentioned that your YouTube channel is essentially just basketball conversations. I know you also said let's talk basketball. So, did you ever consider maybe giving that a try in your younger years? Maybe.
So so another cool story, I guess. My father played in the league in like the 80s. And so I never wanted to do anything my parents
Mhm.
did. And my mom was a model, my dad was a basketball player, whatever.
Okay.
And I just never wanted to do it. Like I was like, whatever. And then obviously I played volleyball, but me and running do not work well together. So I didn't end up playing basketball, but I always had kind of like a, ooh, let's go kind of like attitude towards it.
Right, right, right. And I do want to let you know I am aware of your father playing in NBA. For those of you guys that don't know, Ralph Sampson, Hall of Famer, NBA champion, multiple time All Star. I've done my research. I love the NBA. I love the history of the NBA, and he was definitely one of those guys. How has that like been? Just kind of growing up as a like child of a superstar, basically. How has that been?
It's been very interesting. I would say, like, obviously, growing up, you don't know anything. Like, you're just thinking, oh, that's your parents, right?
Yeah,
So I just thought he was just a really tall, like, father figure, like he was just out, buying me stuff. Like, I don't know. And
yeah,
so growing up was definitely different. There would be a lot of people coming up to me being like, "Hey, can you take a picture of us?" I'm like, "Okay, can I be in the picture? Maybe."
right,
But I'll take it like cheese. Um
right.
but yeah, it was definitely different.
That's awesome, man. That's dope. I'm just and you hear that a lot of cases as well where like, oh, my parent has been successful at one thing. I kind of want to pave my own way. So that makes a lot of sense. And man, I bet you could I bet you would have been nice at basketball. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. I think you would have been nice.
Maybe,
Sticking
I don't know.
just kind of staying on the basketball topic, but kind of pivoting to the professionals because they're a lot better than we are at the sport. I used to play a little basketball back in the day,
Okay.
man, but I want to talk about Asia Wilson, the Las Vegas Aces versus New York Liberty in the WNBA Finals. The Las Vegas Aces did defeat them 3-1, and that series was star studded. I mean, like I mentioned, Asia Wilson, Breanna Stewart was in there, Kelsey Plum, Jonquel Jones. It was superstars out the wazoo in that series. I don't know. Were you able to tune into the series at any point?
I wasn't, but social media. So I was
Yeah,
like, oh my goodness, like they're
yeah,
running it back again. Like
yeah,
this is great. It made history.
yeah. That was awesome, and just seeing the Aces come out on top and seeing Asia Wilson get another championship so early in her career, I just I think of names in the WNBA hierarchy, and I think of her as one of those names. Like Candace Parker is a name that came to mind, Maya Moore, but where do you think she ranks like in terms of those names?
Wow. That's a great question. Um, she's definitely in my top five, at least. Amazing player. Like just such a great player. Like I can't even explain like how like amazing she is, but like it's just so crazy to me that they were able to do all of that stuff within their season. And yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And going to the other side of the coin in a sense, it's all basketball, but looking at the NBA finals and how the Denver Nuggets did what they were able to do and kind of running through the West and essentially running through the whole playoffs in a sense. Do you have an NBA Finals prediction? 6 games, 7 games, 8 games in. Do you think Denver has a chance to repeat, or are you feeling two other teams?
I think obviously they have a chance at winning again, but I would have to say, like, to me, the championship that they won last year was very, like, not recognizable. Like, because since Jokic was like, kind of like, oh, I don't really care about basketball in a sense, then,
Yeah,
like, not like, oh, he won a championship. Oh, like, And so I think, obviously, with Dame and Giannis, like coming together this season is absolutely amazing. And I think they might have a really great chance at winning the championship this year.
okay, okay. Do you have a Eastern Conference, Western Conference prediction? Maybe who would you like to see?
Phoenix.
That would be interesting. Phoenix and Milwaukee. Phoenix and Milwaukee.
Phoenix and Milwaukee. That's who I got. I think
Okay.
The Bucks will win it though in 6 games.
Okay, that's a good prediction. I like that. See, I'm a little hurt because being a Celtic fan, I want to see my guys. I want to see my guys get that chance again because I got to see them against Steph Curry, and with Steph Curry being one of my favorite players of like in the NBA now, yeah. See, pretty much already know where I'm coming with this question. Favorite player, favorite team? Do you have a someone that you like watching more?
Yeah. So obviously Steph Curry. Um, I've put him in my top 5 greatest of all time. A lot of people disagree with that, but he's the best shooter ever. So you can't. I feel like you just can't not put him in your top 5.
Right.
So definitely he's my favorite player, and definitely my favorite team is Warriors. But they hurt me a little bit in the trading uh, Jordan Poole for Chris Paul, and I was just like, but it's fine. It's totally fine. We're gonna recover from it, and I think they're a good team, but it's okay.
Yeah, well, now that you mentioned that Golden State's your favorite team, let's kind of unpack that a little bit.
Yeah.
The Draymond Jordan Poole situation, that was that was weird, and seeing them choose Draymond surprised me. I'm assuming you felt the same way, like they should have chose Jordan Poole over Draymond.
Yeah, I think that Jordan Poole was their future. And so by trading him, they lost all of that. And so when everyone retires because everyone is a little bit older in their careers, they're not going to really have a solid foundation to build off of to have a winning team again. So they're going to have to rebuild around people like Kaminga, Moses Moody. They're good players. It's just, are they franchise players?
Right.
We don't know.
And yeah, they haven't shown much, seemed to show much that shows that they will be superstar, like you said, franchise level guys. Moses Moody has shown a little bit this season that shows he can play next to a guy like Steph. So I
Right.
do see where you're coming from in that aspect. Klay Thompson, another question I want to ask about your Golden State Warriors.
Mhm.
Klay Thompson, free agent this offseason. He's looking for his money. Does he get that contract? If you're the GM, if you're Steve Kerr, Joe Lacob sitting up in those seats, are you giving him that contract?
I would say I would have to. I would have to because Clay is their second person. Like it's Steph Clay. You can't have Steph without Clay. Granted, I think that Clay has been a little iffy since coming back. But he hit some good shots here and there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I do understand both sides of it, giving it to him because of what he's done. Like you said, he is Golden State along with Steph, along with Draymond. So I do understand that. But at what point is it man, Steph has 2 more good years. So it's just tough, man. It's tough. That's a very tough situation to really kind of decide. And honestly, that was one of the NBA storylines. This is kind of segueing perfectly into the other topic. Was there another NBA storyline that you were looking at going into the season? I know Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma being in Washington was a big storyline. We had Victor Wembanyama coming into the NBA. What was the storyline that really caught your eye coming into this season?
Definitely Victor Wembanyama. I'm definitely watching the Spurs now. They are a really good team. They're just super young, but I think within like 4 or 5 years they'll be one of the teams that will go deep in the playoffs. Um, and I just think that I don't know, they have like good solid pieces in Devin Vassell, Victor Wembanyama, obviously, and Jeremy Sohan, and I think they can really build around that. So I'm definitely like watching and seeing if they're able to put it all together a little bit this year since they're all kind of fresh and new. So yeah, I'm definitely watching them.
Right. I agree. I agree. I'm a big Duke college basketball fan as well. So they got Trey Jones. So
Mhm.
I've been watching the Spurs a little bit as well. Do you dabble in any college basketball? Are you
UVA here and there.
okay, that's respect. That's respect. That's respect. I agree. Of course, it has to be an ACC team that Duke struggled with. I figured. Um, last topic that I really wanted to get to. this was a big storyline as of late. This was something that I wanted to make sure I got your opinion on. James Harden getting traded to the Clippers. First, the package that he was traded for. How do you feel about that? It was a few role players, a couple first round picks. How do you feel about him getting traded from Philly?
Well, I talked about this a little bit in my latest video, but I don't think he's going to help the team at all. Like, I personally think that he wants what he wants when he wants it. And if LA says, hey, like, James, can you play the five? And he's like, I don't want to play the five. Then he's going to be like, I'm not going to practice. I'm not going to games. Like, I'm hurt right now. I'm injured. Like, so I don't think he's going to help. And also, we know the LA Clippers are not a deep playoff team. So I also do feel like, too, that he won't like make the team bad. He won't help or hurt the team. He's just going to be there as a player. So,
Right. See, I want to be so optimistic because my friends get on me all the time. They say I'm a big James Harden fan. I'm a huge James Harden fan.
okay.
Yeah, one of my friends and I got in an argument yesterday. He was like, Allen Iverson or James Harden. I said, I'm gonna take James Harden. I'm sorry. And listen, it might be crazy, but James Harden had a stretch of 5 years where he averaged 30 plus. You can't do anything with that. He has multiple assist titles. I know he's never led a team to the finals like Allen Iverson has, but for the stretch of like 6 seasons when he was the guy in Houston, he ran into your Warriors, he
Yeah.
ran into Kawhi one season, and he ran into LeBron in the bubble. It's like that's tough. That's a tough road for anybody. So I'm a huge James Harden guy. Personally, I think him to the Clippers is what they needed. I
Really?
think, yeah, I think this is the year. If the Clippers don't get it done this year, they do need to blow up the team. But I think this can be their team. This can be their team. Now, the other side of that Harden trade that I want to get your opinion on, though, is him leaving Philadelphia. Did you think he had enough in Philadelphia to get it done? What do you think about what they got back in return? And do you think Tyrese Maxey can fill his shoes essentially as that next star?
Mm, I think Tyrese Maxey is really good, but I don't think in terms of filling his shoes, James Harden's shoes, no. He's too young. He needs to develop as a player a little bit more. Um, so yeah, James Harden too. You heard about the he didn't go to training camp and he was like at the club in Houston or whatever with probably little baby, I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
um like I feel like he's taking that attitude to every team. And I also believe that he's like nearing the end of his career. That's why I feel like he won't help
Mhm.
or hurt. But we'll see. This would be a very interesting season for sure.
Yes, yes, yes. Last but not least, I have a a final question I want to ask for you. Final question I want to ask. It's your favorite for the MVP in the NBA this season. Who are you liking?
Hmm. Well, I would have to say Steph. I would have to say Steph because the way that he's been playing, literally putting the team on his back, is something a little different. He has a little fire this year, and I think he really wants that ring.
Yeah, this is definitely a scoring Steph Curry season. I think what 30, yeah, I got it right here. 31, 5 and 4.
Yeah.
It's insane. I have him, I have Jokic. Those are probably the two names for me right now.
Hmm.
I,
What do
I,
you
I
think about Luca?
the thing about the Mavericks, again, one of the Duke guys played for them, Derek Lively Jr. He just got drafted there. I'm a huge fan of Luca and Kyrie as individual players, but them together, I don't know. I have a hard time loving it. They're just two similar players. You know, both of them kind of play the same position. Having them start as your point and your two guard, you're going to struggle defensively.
Yeah.
So it's just tough. But I do like Luka as a player. As a player, I think he's really good. I just My question is why don't they win more when he puts up such great numbers?
Mm.
You see what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you see guys like LeBron, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry put up these immaculate numbers and their teams are you see it on the win column. You see them winning championships, you see them winning the playoffs. Luka's made it to one conference championship, but other than that, it's just not the success you'd expect for
Right.
25, 8-8. So I
Mm.
don't know.
I agree. I think they're two great players, but their playing style is totally different. And so
And,
I feel like they struggle a little bit.
and see, I guess that's kind of well. Let's get back on the storylines then, because that kind of leads to the Phoenix Suns, a team that is similarly built to a team like you just said, the Dallas Mavericks. I
Mm.
like Bradley Beal as an individual player. I like Devin Booker as an individual player, but they're like the same person. What is your feelings on? Do you think that works better than Luka Kyrie?
I feel like it works because since they have Kevin Durant, Booker, and Bradley Bill, I feel like at least two of them can make it work.
Right.
And so when you only have two in Luca and Kyrie, there's only two that can help. And then obviously you have the role players and all that stuff. But since they have three superstars,
Mm-hmm.
they have probably a better chance at trying to figure it out than Luca and Kyrie do. Yeah.
Okay. And so the failed experiment in Brooklyn with Kevin Durant of Kyrie Irving and James Harden, that doesn't bring any hesitance or
Well, but here's the thing with that though too. There's a they were hurt, so they never really got to play together in one
right.
game like a lot. So
True.
I don't know. It's a very, very skeptical.
Right. That is true. I believe they played 16, 19 games together, something like that. So
Yeah, and it's
that's not
82
many.
game
Yeah.
season, so it's like, are we evaluating it for its like in its all in everything, or are we just evaluating because they were on the same team but they never got to play together?
Right.
So
That's legit. That's legit. I feel like people do give that Brooklyn team a little too much. They bag on them a little too much just because, like you said, they all were injured. It wasn't fair when they were playing. Kevin Durant was great, but Harden was hurt. Kyrie wasn't there. Then when they all were there, it just didn't work. I
no,
think that was a special case as well.
yeah, for sure.
To conclude our episode though, like I sent, we always finish with words of wisdom. It's just something that we do. It can just be a scripture, it can be a word, it can be just anything you're feeling. Do you have anything to tell to the Dynastyers family to end the episode?
Yeah, so this is coming from me personally and in my personal experience of life. um Things won't always come like that. So if you take time and effort and you actually create the like life that you want to build, um you're going to end up getting it. Because if you manifesting is actually really, really good. I've manifested a lot in my life, and I just be checking off like boxes because if you write down things on paper, they're more likely to come true because you're like seeing it in person. And so what I always say to people is like, if you are thinking about it in a positive light, then it more or less will happen or not. Like you have such a if you have a negative look on life, then it's going to be negative. All your whole world is going to be negative. You won't get what you actually want and what you desire in life. But if you have a positive outlook on life, then life is going to be so much fuller and so much better because you're not like worried about, oh, how am I going to get there? Like you're just, okay, I'm going to get there eventually. I got this. I know I got it. I'm going to do it. And that's it, really. So yeah.
And I honestly want to say I appreciate that because that just you can take that in everyday walk of life. Like even on my job sometimes, just activities are tough. It's a learning process every day. So pretty much I just want to reiterate what you said. Just take every day as a learning experience. Don't count the wins and the losses. Don't count the W's and the L's. Count every day as a lesson. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that. That's something you can definitely take. Hopefully you can take that throughout your week, everybody. I do want to give you the floor. Is there anything else that you wanted to promote? We do have your Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok scrolling at the bottom. Everybody, please give Miss India Sampson a follow at india.sampson on all of the social medias below. Last but not least, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so obviously you have my YouTube there. So everyone go follow, go subscribe. I post literally almost every Sunday. I'm trying to get better and being consistent, but every Sunday I'm going to start doing more interviews, more just like cool videos. I do post a lot of modeling stuff on there too. And I'm ramping that up again. But every Sunday definitely tune in to my take, India Sampson. Yeah.
Yep, there you have it, everybody. And until next time, I'm your host, Darius Capers, our visitor, Miss India Sampson. Thank you again for your time. And
No
until
problem.
next time, peace.